Hello everybody and welcome to this amazing discussion of Dead by Daylight. Just yesterday I saw my Twitter feed blow up with accusations of D-ranking and arguments that doing so was toxic. I was of course drawn into the topic as it has been actually common practice among many content creators and players for a variety of reasons over the last few years. I'm here today to talk about D-ranking and its negative effects on Dead by Daylight. In truth, I have no idea why this topic has appeared as of now as a notable issue, since it has been around for quite some time, especially for Dead by Daylight. Content creators and players from all over have been deranking for the last few years for all sorts of reasons. For those of you who don't know, deranking is known to be the practice of reducing your rank through means of quitting the game or intentionally losing. There's even a third-party application that'll change the files to change your rank as well. A common reason to why players do this is simply to play against newer or less skilled players than themselves. This sounds harmless, but has always shown to have negative effects on the community as a whole. D-ranking is similar to that of smurfing, which is typically found in multiplayer games. Smurfing is when a veteran or skilled player creates a new account and plays on that account. So what's wrong with this? I mean, the player who smurfs or D-ranks just wants an easier game, right? And that shouldn't be an issue. And sure, there isn't anything wrong with someone wanting a tailored experience to the game to be better or more positive for them, but when we do this at the cost of others' experience, then we have a problem. But TydeTyme, rank in Dead by Daylight doesn't matter. Rank 1 doesn't mean you're good at the game, and I've been told that 100 times, and I agree. It doesn't matter in terms of skill, but I think we're misunderstanding the purpose of ranking in Dead by Daylight. Rank 1 in DBD is by no means a testament of skill in comparison to a ranking system of, let's say, League of Legends. However, Dead by Daylight's ranking system is not meant to determine skill. It is meant to determine your knowledge and experience within the game itself. When you pick up DBD for the first time, you'll see that you may lose often or win often depending, which prevents you from ranking or ranks you up accordingly. Once you start understanding the game and see the patterns on how to play and obtain that knowledge and display that knowledge accordingly, you'll start ranking up and you'll eventually get to rank 15. This puts you with other players who are also slightly experienced and put themselves into the game, but also removes you from those who are now also just jumping into the game as you once did. From there you continue to play, expand your knowledge, and ultimately increase your rank over time. Behavior also recognized this and built it into the game from the start with that purpose. Of course, to some, rank is meant to demonstrate your skill level, and sure, a lot of us thought this way too, as that's normally what we've accustomed ranks to, but ultimately, we've come to agree that rank 1 in Dead by Daylight is more a testament of time than it was of actual skill, and behavior knows this because that's its purpose. Multiplayer games with matchmaking becomes vital in order to keep new players away from veteran players. Bringing in new players can be a daunting task, as first impressions are important. If you log into a new fighting game and your first match, unbeknownst to you, is the world champion esports player, you're probably not gonna have a good time. That feeling of destruction is horrid and can turn you away from the game, especially when you can't even figure out what happened. Of course, this isn't the feeling that everybody gets, but majority do. That is why marketing for games is sly in the way that they present games to players in the form of demos and convention. Games are typically tailored to provide a positive first-hand experience at the start. Back when I used to make videos for Smite, I always took the opportunity to learn as much as I could about the gaming world, and when at their expo, they had a setup for their new game Paladins at the time. However, they were not allowing players to compete against other players. They were instead having 2 players at a time play against 5 easy bots, with 3 bots set to hard on their team. This made it near impossible to lose, as the 3 hard bots would carry the game and make a win if the 2 players could not win against the bots themselves. This purpose is to provide a positive experience the first time, and have those players want to download the game and continue playing later. Once past that first impression, it becomes easier for players to accept a loss occasionally between their wins and learn from their mistakes. Back over to Dead by Daylight, you could see this is also the case. Though this game doesn't have bots or AI to play against you, the matchmaking is set in a way that players will be put against other players of the same skill level when possible. Your rank determines what lobbies the game tries to place you in, and if those are not available, it picks the next best thing. The ranks are even categorized into colors to help differentiate the experience. Due to this, the players who understand the game and play with that knowledge effectively eventually hit rank 1. It is not a very difficult task, but it can be challenging for some. And this is supposed to help separate us from those who can so that they can continue to learn at their own pace. But players have taken it upon themselves to go ahead and lower their own rank for their own good. This was such an issue before that Behavior actually made a response to this not too long ago. On July 24th, 2018, the DBD devs rolled out patch 2.1.0, and that would combat this issue of players deranking as it was affecting the lowest ranks. Players who had way too much knowledge were ruining the experience of brand new players at ranks 20 to 15. To prevent this, they made it so that rank 15 would block players from intentionally ranking down without the assistance of rank reset on the 13th of every month. Additionally, any pips earned within ranks 20 to 16 could not be removed. This forces players who learn the game to move on and prevents them from even returning. Like a mother bird pushing the chick out of the nest, you eventually need to learn, or you'll end up quitting. Poor birds. Rank reset is also set in a way that players who stop playing can return and play to regain their bearings. Players who return after long breaks are not likely to retain their rank 1 knowledge or skill of the game. Our skills and knowledge can rust over time, and that's to be expected. Behavior has shown they understand all this, and they built it in such a way that even when returning, you can return to a positive experience to pull you in and to continue to have fun up until you hit that point when you stop. Now, looking at those who derank or smurf, you can see the issue here. It isn't just about them tailoring their game for a better experience for themselves, but they're also impeding the experience of others who are trying to have a good time. Rank in Dead by Daylight is absolutely not a testament of skill, but it is a testament of knowledge and experience in the game, and it is meant to matchmake us with players with similar knowledge and experience. So why would players derank? Through all the forums, message boards, and Twitter posts, I've come to find that people derank for quite a few reasons. The primary reason is because they supposedly stop having fun at rank 1. They'll call players sweaty or tryhards, and that ruins their fun because they want to goof around, or they're tired of playing against the same killers, strategies, setups, yada yada. Another common reason is apparently some people don't find games at rank 1, the lobby system could be borked, and to be honest, it's happened from time to time, but it's not exactly a rank that was causing it. Players don't find any lobbies at the high ranks, they derank to find more games to play, and some content creators may refer to this one the most as they want to just create content, and sitting in lobby simulator is just not the best for them, and I can understand that. If they can't find games, they can't make content. Referring to the primary reason, I think a lot of people hit rank 1 without having that extreme skill that some players might have. At rank 1 we hit a whole new meta of gameplay. Players with the highest skill are at this rank, and since many other players without this skill can reach this rank, they'll find that they might have a terrible experience, referring back to that pro esports player versus the newbie. Even if it isn't against a newbie, a person who's played a game a lot isn't necessarily going to compete at an esports level. And I'm not saying Dead by Daylight is esports, I'm just making a comparison so that you understand the difference in skill. Being at rank 1, there is a large gap in skill. And with that, it all just kind of comes full circle. The experience we were tailored to have is no longer there. I've discussed this several times prior, but survivors who play this game at a high level can easily win games, and killers of the highest level may resort to some of the most powerful setups to combat this to the best of their ability, which also creates that small fissure that when the survivors who are not of the highest skill play against the killers who are using the best setups to fight that, they're going to have a bad time as they just want to have fun, but the other player's there to win. Which also now brings me to what brought this all up, and that would be a Reddit post that brings up this discussion that a particular streamer, who is endorsed as a fog whisperer from Dead by Daylight, intentionally deranks and streams their gameplay at the lower ranks while also performing what the community would see to be toxic behavior. The link is in the description down below if you wish to read it. It's not that long, and if you figure out who they're talking about, please don't bother them. No one should be harassed over a discussion. The thread itself is pointing fingers, but it does bring up valid points, and I'm not here to point fingers, I'm just here to talk about the valid point it brings up. Content creators and players should not be deranking. I'm a content creator myself and have been even before this game existed. I've played and made content to this game consistently at the highest rank I could be, unless it was reset of course every 13th of the month. I've always been able to make content at rank 1 for both Twitch and YouTube without issue. My primary issues for lobbies that would come up would not be due to my rank, but instead for events like the Hollowed Blight or matchmaking itself being broken due to bugs and errors which later got patched out. And due to this, I don't find that creating content or finding lobbies to be an issue. So for transparency's sake, some people might ask, well, did I ever participate in deranking or smurfing? And I have participated in smurfing back in Smite. Back in Smite, I made a second account that I could test certain builds in at a high rank without risk to my primary account. But unlike Dead by Daylight, rank actually mattered quite a bit, and with queue times being 20 minutes on that game, I ultimately could not risk my primary account because it would take too long to recover points, especially if I went on a loss streak trying out crazy builds. But in terms of Dead by Daylight, the most I've ever done myself was just not rank up. During a rank reset, I'd take a couple days off, come back, and then get to rank 1 within 24 hours of playing the game. I don't really feel that there is even a valid excuse to really derank, as it does nothing but promote toxicity. The ideas that certain strategies even work, for example, was primarily brought up through this issue of deranking. Players who could 360 would 360 against players who were not experienced enough with the game to understand how to very easily counteract that. And when you don't have that knowledge, it seems like it works. So then you saw that as a primary strategy for a while, but as people became more experienced, you saw this fad easily fall off. But players who still do it to the lower ranks because the lesser experienced fall for it. And with that, there's even exploits with ranks that allow rank 1 players to play with the lower ranks while in Survive with Friends, and that whole Survive with Friends issue is a discussion for a separate video. People have gone so far as to defend deranking as an okay thing to do. The issue here though is by deranking you are intentionally taking yourself away from the rank you're supposed to be in to be matched at someone who's possibly at a lesser experience or skill so you can have a better time at the cost of their experience. I ask that all content creators and players who watch this, please return to the proper ranks you belong in. If there are issues at those ranks or the higher ranks, then let's get together to find a proper solution instead of ignoring it. The devs have always had open ears to these types of issues. The game isn't the most balanced. There are issues at rank 1, yes, but we won't find a solution without being there to help discover it ourselves and come up with a solution and offer that to the devs. Currently, I don't see a value in being at the lower ranks. If I were to return to lower ranks myself, I would absolutely ruin the experience of those I play against. It's 2:20 a.m. Pacific time right now as of me taking this clip here, and there are 16,000 players on PC alone. Lobbies are not an issue. I've been able to find a game to play at any time, be it in the AM or the PM. Dead by Daylight is nowhere near dead, and if you're finding games with lower ranks, what are the chances that those just happen to be other rank 1s that also deranked? Let's not forget that by intentionally griefing, throwing the game, or quitting the game too often is bannable. This is clearly not intended by the developers for players to derank intentionally. It is a problem, and it is a problem that only harms the community. I make this discussion simply because everyone's talking about it now, and I think it is an important discussion, and maybe together, as a community, we could do what is right for us for once. And tell me what you think. Do you think deranking is okay? And if so, why? Have you been affected by players of skill that don't belong in the lower ranks? Are you new to the game, and have you experienced someone who just bullied you? Tell me your story. This is a discussion, and I hope it doesn't end here. I've seen this community go through some rough times, and for once I think we should take the opportunity to really reflect on this and better the community as a whole. Thank you everybody for watching. If you like this discussion, please feel free to subscribe as we'll be doing them weekly once again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and as always, good game.